celebrating 11 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Bobby Scott.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible, and I would say it's about time. I have known you the better part of 24, 25 years.
Sure have.
Always see you around the radio station. Great guy in our community. Bobby Scott is my guest today on Anything is Possible. Let's read the numbers. UT quarterback, 10 seasons in the NFL for the New Orleans Saints, played for the New Jersey Generals and the Chicago Blitz of the USFL. But this note right here, I mean, it's not funny, but it says here, during a televised game, you tripped over a TV cable and blew your knee out and ended your season.
What had happened, we were on the sidelines warming up, and Archie threw a ball that, I was going to catch, and I jumped up to catch it. And when I did, they had a TV cable coiled up on the sidelines, and I hit that TV cable and nearly, probably the worst sprained ankle I've ever had, but that's all it was. And I was out for about a week and then was back.
You're the quarterback at UT, number 10, 1971 Sugar Bowl victory. You're the big man on campus. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Rossville, Georgia. It's right below Chattanooga. You step out of Chattanooga into Rossville when you step out of Tennessee into Georgia.
Now, brothers and sisters?
I'm one of a large family. I had 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
Wow, competitive?
Me and my closest brother were. Houston, my oldest brother, he's the second oldest, so he was really kind of in high school when we were in Little League and Babe Ruth League and everything like that. So didn't compete with him very much, but me and my brother competed a lot.
You told me in our interview, before this interview, that sports was your life growing up, that it was sports. Tell me about your life growing up.
I guess from the time I was about 7 years old, I started playing organized sports. We were very lucky in our little town we lived in there. John L. Hutchison was the guy that owned the woolen mill there in Rossville, and he gave back to the community, very much. I mean, he did a lot for the kids, especially. He built our high school football field. He built our Little League baseball field as well as our high school baseball field. And he went out and hired the people to organize our Little League program, starting when we were 7 and 8 years old, and up till we were like 12. And it was a great experience. We had great coaches. We always had 4 league teams, and that we played. About, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then we'd pick an all-star team, and we would go around and play different places. One of the greatest times of my life, really, I guess, when I was 12 years old, we had in 1959 we had won the Georgia State Championship. Went to Lakeland, Florida, played in the Dixie World Series in Dixie Youth Baseball. And we finished 3rd. In 1960, we won the Georgia State Championship again, went to South Boston, Virginia, and got beat 2 games straight.
Wow.
And I mean, we were sick. I mean, we literally, the kids that I played with and everything, that we were just sick that we went up there and got beat 2 games straight and got, had to go back to Rossville. And so the next year, when I was 12, we won the Georgia State Championship, and then we had to beat Virginia because they had 8 teams that were in the tournament, and one of the teams was the host team, which was Lookout Mountain. It was the tournament that year was held on Lookout Mountain. So we beat Virginia for the Virginia-Georgia championship. And then we went to Lookout Mountain, and that year in 1961 we won the whole tournament. And,
So you won everything.
Yeah, and
Now, what position were you playing during all of that?
I was a pitcher, and I played third base.
Wow.
We had one guy that kind of went around. His name was Ricky Buff, one of the greatest athletes I ever played with. But I played third base and I pitched. The shortstop played shortstop, of course, but he pitched. And our left fielder, who was a guy named Denny Painter, played quarterback at Vanderbilt, and he was our left fielder, and he pitched. So Ricky Buff would play each of our positions when we were pitching. And then if we needed,
he could play all of them.
Right. And then if we needed a fourth pitcher to relieve or whatever,
he could do that.
He would come in and be the reliever. So
your whole life was immersed in sports. You played baseball, football. Did you play any basketball?
Played basketball. And,
really?
And like I said, the community center there, we had a gym, we had a bowling alley, we had a snack bar and everything, all built by John L. Hutchison. And the guy that owned our mill, and where everybody worked. Everybody. My dad worked there for 25 years.
Wow.
And but he gave back to the community. We always have Christmas. He would buy all the toys and everything for everybody at Christmas, and we would all go up and to the community center, and they would hand out gifts to all the kids whose parents worked at the mill.
What a
Stuff
man.
like that. It's great.
It was a
really
simple,
place.
good life, wasn't
Right.
it?
Sure was. And and we just learned to win. I mean, I told you in our interview, it just gets all over me when people, say, yeah, we're going to give them a trophy for participating.
No.
I mean, that just kind of sticks in my craw a little bit. You got to know how to win. But you also have to know how to lose.
Let's take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk about winning and losing. I want to talk about you making it to the University of Tennessee, because that was a big step. I want to figure out how that happened.
All right.
Bobby Scott is my guest. You're watching Anything is Possible.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
We invested a lot of sweat and blood out there on that practice field, and we did it because we wanted to win.
You got to know how to lose, but you definitely got to know how to win. He's a winner. He's Bobby Scott. He's my guest on Anything is Possible. Thank you for joining us. So you said you got to know how to win. Did you grow up being a Tennessee fan?
I probably started, junior high school.
So you wanted to come to Tennessee?
Yeah, I wanted to come to Tennessee, but I went and looked at Georgia, and I went to Alabama. I went to Clemson, and Tennessee was just, held a place in my heart, and I got to meet quite a few of the players when I was pretty young, probably 14, 15 years old. I started coming to Tennessee games. And it was just, it's just part of the, I guess the whole thing was being wanting to, play at UT. And when I came up here, I can remember like it was yesterday, our first day of practice with the varsity, and we all practiced on the baseball field, which was Lower Hudson.
Right.
Down where the baseball field is now. And at the end of practice, when we started doing team periods, they brought the freshmen up to run the offense against the varsity defense.
Wow.
So, I run the first play. Steve Kiner hits me and splits my thumb open. And I get it taped up and everything, and then I go back in to run the option play the other way and cut up the field. Jack Reynolds hit me and knocked me out. And
Welcome to Tennessee.
I'm laying there on the ground. I said, "What in the heck have I got myself into?"
I bet you didn't say heck. So you make it to the team. You're on the freshman team. When did you become a starter?
I became a starter in my junior year. I backed up Bubba White in 1968, and back then, see, you had a freshman team. You couldn't play as a freshman.
Right.
So consequently, we all we did was work out and learn the offense and everything, and then we just put on a show for the varsity, and then we played 4 games. We played a game against Georgia Tech, a game against Vanderbilt, a game against Alabama, and a game against Kentucky, and we had a 4-game season, and then I backed up Bubba White's my sophomore year, and really and truly I wish I'd been redshirted. Back then, you're ready to play, you want to play, and you want to get in there and everything, and if I'd have just been smart enough to say, hey, redshirt me, in 1971, we could have had an awfully good football team.
When you stepped on the field for the first time as the starting quarterback, you're wearing that number
About
10.
like that.
Really? What'd you feel in Neyland Stadium?
You're excited. I had a bunch of friends that in the Chattanooga area that, they were here at every ball game, and they took care of my parents and made sure my mother and daddy were at every ball game, it was just the biggest thrill you could ever imagine. I told my son, when he was there, and he was there from 95 through 99, and I told him, I said, until you stood in that tunnel and waiting to come out to play Alabama, I said, you hadn't felt
You hadn't
anything.
felt it yet.
And it's really funny because after the game and everything, I always went to the radio station and did the radio show with Tim Priest.
Right.
And Benson was the first one on the phone calling in. He said, Dad, is everything you said and more?
You really love UT, don't you?
I do.
I've met a lot of people since I've been living here that love UT. You love UT. You have a passion. When there's joy, you feel all the joy. But I've never met anybody that also feels all the pain when it's not going well. You're not happy when it's not.
I don't have very many good days when it's not going well.
Why are you so vested in UT?
Just because I was just like Tim Priest and Joe Thompson and the guys that I played with and graduated with, Chip Kell, Mike Bevins, Steve Robinson. I mean, we invested a lot of sweat and blood out there on that practice field, and we did it because we wanted to win, and that's what it's all about. When you lose, it's not, you're not happy.
Right.
I mean, there's just no way.
I think what I've noticed about you is you don't really like people who are okay with losing.
I mean, I just wasn't built that way.
Yeah.
I wasn't brought up that way.
How'd you bounce from UT to the league?
I was, the player personnel guy at New Orleans told me, he said until we saw you play in the Sugar Bowl, we were not sure we were going to draft you. But once we saw you in the Sugar Bowl, then, that settled a lot of things in our mind, and we decided to go ahead and draft you.
One game made the difference.
Yeah, and, Archie was the #1 draft pick, and Archie and I got to be really good friends, as well as teammates. We spent a lot of time together watching film and preparing, for ball games, and, it didn't matter that I wasn't starting. I mean, we weren't winning, and that's,
that hurts you more.
That hurts more. It does.
Why don't we take a break? When we come back, I want to talk about winning. I want to talk about your family. I want to talk about what you've learned about winning and losing. And it's just a pleasure to have you on the broadcast.
Well, it's great to be here.
This is the quarterback, Bobby Scott. You're watching Anything Is Possible. We'll be right back.
Coming up.
it just kills me when I see, little leaguers and everything, high schoolers now, when they lose, they're crying and, carrying on and everything. I never did that.
I love being around winners, and I love people who have that winner's energy, and Bobby Scott is one of those people, and it's good to have you here today.
It's great to be with you.
Let's talk a little bit about what you've learned about life and winning, because after you finished football, what was after that?
When I was in the construction business for a little while, and then I started in 1991 working with Balfour, which is a high school class ring company, championship rings, graduation announcements, and yearbooks, and I just really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed getting out in the high schools and visiting with kids and principals, and really do enjoy what I do now.
Awesome. What did you learn about winning?
I learned that winning didn't come easy. I mean, it took work. It took, hard practice. It took guys being around you that were like-minded, that felt the same way. And we just wouldn't accept losing.
Right.
And I started 2 years, and we were 20-3 in those 2 years. But it wasn't anything that I did. I mean, it's just that
it's a collective mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that if I threw an interception or we fumbled the ball and gave the opposing team the ball on our end of the field or something, I knew that our defense was going to come in, shut them down, and by the same token, if the defense let them get an easy touchdown or something,
they knew you were coming back.
They knew we were going to come in and we were going to get that score back. One of the things that we prided ourselves in when we played was, we were going to score on the first possession, and we probably did that. I'd say out of 23 games, I'd say we did it probably 15, 16 times.
It's incredible. I'll tell you what I've learned about the desire to win and pursuing winning. It makes you become a better person. I mean, there's because of the hard work that you have to do in order to win, it forces out of you a better person. You've got to get better. And if you are a winner and you live with that winner's energy, what happens is that becomes the pattern or habit of your life. Everything you approach still feeds off that same energy. So no matter what you're doing, you want to get better, and you want to clearly define what it means to win. How do you handle losing, though?
That's a lot harder. Now, you got to work hard and everything to win, but you're not going to win every time. Nobody ever has. I mean, I don't know anybody that's gone undefeated their whole life. And the thing that you have to do, and the thing that I looked at myself, and it just kills me when I see little leaguers and everything, high schoolers now, when they lose, they're crying and carrying on and everything. I never did that. I looked at myself. I said, did I do everything that I could possibly do to win this ball game? Did I work hard in practice all week long? Did I play as hard as I could play? Did I make the right decisions at the right times to help this team win? And if I did, then usually you win. But if I didn't, then I say, I've got to go back and go to work.
I got to get better.
I got to go back and go to work and get better. And, that's the key.
That is the key.
It's not giving up and not laying around pouting that I didn't win. By golly, you pick yourself up and you go out there and you work harder.
Get better. Tell me about your family.
I've been blessed. I've got my son Benson, who is a doctor with KOC. I've got my daughter, who is a pediatric nurse practitioner, and she's taking a little leave of absence right now because she had her own little boy.
Awesome.
Grayson James. And that he was born a little over a week ago now. I've got 3 other grandchildren. Stratton, who's the oldest, he's 7. Mary Aspen is 5, and William is he's the king of the ranch, and he's 2. So, but I have certainly been blessed. My wife is a great mom. She's a great wife, and she just lives and dies, or not dies, but she just lives for those grandkids.
Yeah, those grandkids.
They're first in our life. As a matter of fact, be going after we leave here, going to eat, and then they're spending the night with us. So
look at you beam. Now, when you put them on your knee and you tell them about life and possibility, what are the values that you're trying to instill in your grandchildren? You had your own children, and they've done well, but what do you tell them about possibility?
Now, at their side, I mean, I think you try to emphasize that, you tell the truth. You don't lie. You don't have to lie to me or your dad or mom or anything. We're going to love you no matter what. But don't try to run something by us that's not true. And they all 3 of these now. Little William, he's not quite old enough yet, but when you get to be 5 and 7, you know what's right and wrong usually in most things, and they're all both the older ones are good kids, and I've been blessed with that as well as with my own Benson and Taylor.
Wow, you're a great guy, and I got to tell you, you may not know this, but when I moved back to Knoxville, I guess around 25 years ago, you would always come to the station. You were always doing radio, always around Bobby Denton and all those folks, and you would always make it a point to come speak to me. I didn't know anybody, and you would say, "Hey," and you would give me all this enthusiasm. I really appreciate that.
You're so welcome, and you've done a great job, and I just enjoyed being here with you today.
I run a route for you any day.
All righty, we'll do that.
Thank you for coming by.
You bet.
That's Anything is Possible. We'll see you next week.